Hey folks, Leader here once again. I hope you enjoyed my last video, which was my history of Batman. And, well, now that I'm on my Batman marathon, that was the introduction, the intro video was my history of Batman, so definitely go check that out. And anyway, now that we're getting started with this marathon, we're starting with the old live action Batman stuff. Well, I'm starting with the older stuff first, and that is starting with the 1940 serials first. I am doing a review for the 1943 serial, the 1940 Batman, which is a 1943 serial. This is the first live action Batman adaptation to ever come out. Yep. And it is a 15-chapter theatrical serial from Columbia Pictures, produced by Rudolph C. Fullo. It's directed by Lambert Hiller, and it stars Lois Wilson as Bruce Wayne / Batman, Douglas Croft as Dick Grayson / Robin. Yeah, other cast members like J. Carrol Naish as Dr. Tanaka, Shirley Patterson as Linda Page, William Hudson as Alfred, Robert Fisk as Foster, Gus Glasgow, Carl Hackett, Tom London, Charles Moulton, Harry Terberg, Charles C. Wilson. Alright, the production. This serial was made at the height of World War II, and like numerous works of popular American fiction of the time, how this came into being production, contained anti-Axis power sentiments, in this case, anti-Japanese ethnic slurs and comments. In a scene, one of Doug's henchmen turns to him, saying, "That's the kind of answer that fits the color of your skin." Earlier narration in the first chapter, minute 9:20 through 9:30, represents the U.S. government policy of Japanese-American interment to explain the abandoned neighborhood where DACA's headquarters are located, setting the serial's racial tone. This is a part of a foreign land, translated to American and known as Little Tokyo. You have to remember that this was a different time. This was 1943. World War II was going on, so different time. Since a wide government rounded up at the shifty eyes Japs, it has become virtually a ghost street. Just like many other comparative serials, Batman also suffered from a low budget. No attempt was made to create a Batmobile, so there is no Batmobile. Either a black 1930 Cadillac series car was used, chauffeured by Alfred when Bruce and Dick were either in the civilian or as Batman Robin identities. It is driven top up when it is the Batmobile, and the top down when it's Bruce Wayne's car. Batman's hometown of Gotham City, analog New York in the comics, becomes an analog of Los Angeles in the movie. While many serials made changes as part of their adaptation to the extent they were often improved, almost out of recognition, Batman fared better than most, and changes were minor. In this serial, especially utility boats were worn but never used. The villain was not taken from the comic stories. There was no Batmobile. Yeah, there is no Batmobile in this series, in this 1940 serial, and there is no Commissioner Gordon as well. Yeah, no Commissioner Gordon. It's the captain. His name's Captain Arnold. So, no Jim Gordon in this. In this series, and Batman was a secret government agent instead of an independent crime-fighting vigilante. Yeah, I didn't like the whole thing. I was alright with him being an independent government agent, but, you know, to me, Batman will always be more vigilante than that. The last change was due to time period film censors, who would not allow the hero to be seen taking the law into his own hands. Several cameo errors occur, such as Batman losing his cape and in fact wearing it again after the film only briefly cuts away. The opening narration in Chapter 1 states, "Wayne Manor is a fictional Gotham City, but his mail in Chapter 5 is addressed to Los Angeles." In the first chapter, Batman, when he hears the name Dr. Tanaka, he's like, "Who is that?" Then in the last chapter, Batman tells Stark that he and other reporters have been living with data since he killed 2 agents trying to deport him. And that was never mentioned in another chapter. And the translation between Chapter 5 and 6 isn't clear how Batman survived a plane crash, which killed two villains who were on the plane. Press releases announced Batman as Super Serial, and its company's largest scale production to date. The studio gave it publicity campaign to feature film. So back then, in the 1940s, when people go see it, they would go to theater, see these serials, so it would kind of like end on a cliffhanger with Batman in danger, or whatever was going to happen. Yeah. And on the comic book trio, Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson, Alfred, and Linda Page are the only characters from the comic books to appear in the serial. Alfred may have been created for the film and previewed by the comics. Captain Normal isn't the same character as Commissioner Gordon, who's already a fixture in the comic since Batman's debut appearance. The reason why his change is unknown. I guess, yeah. Yeah, Batman does make a racist slur. I'm like, okay. Jab devil, but again, you have to remember that this was the 1940s. I guess we were at war with Japan at this time, so kind of maybe have to expect the racial slurs. You know, not saying, you know. Batman is known for being the first appearance on film of Batman, for giving story elements. And I forgot to mention, of course, we have the Batcave as well. At the time Batman was released, Alfred was shown as a poorly gentleman in the comics. The series was commercially successful in 1949. 4 years after World War II, they spun another one, Batman and Robin, which came out in 1949. The entire first Batman series was released theatrically in 1965. The success inspired the action comedy Poon series, Batman, and its 1966 special spin-off starring Adam West and Burt Ward. Sorry, but you have 15 chapter titles in here, which are The Electric Brain, The Bat's Cave, Mark of the Zombies, Slaves of the Rising Sun, Living Corpse, Prison Burrow, Phony Doctor, Robot Radium, The Sign of the Sphinx, Flying Spies, A Nicholas Trap, Embers of Evil, 8 Steps Down, The Executioner Strikes, and The Doom of the Rising Sun. So, pretty much let me just describe the plot of what the serial is about. Is that the Batman, Bruce Wayne, and his secret ward, Robin, aka Dick Grayson, secret government agents, follow the Japan attack on Pearl Harbor, becoming aware of Japanese sabotage ring operating Gotham City. Bruce's girlfriend, Linda, asked for his help in finding her uncle, Martin Warren, who was abducted by the ring after he was released from prison. Dr. Chico Takta, the Japanese leader of the ring, plans to steal the city's radium supply to power his invention, a handheld ray gun that can solve anything made by his powerful beam. He forces from Warren the location of the vault where the radium is stored. Dakota sends his American henchman along with a zombie that he controls by microphone via an electrical brain implant to steal the precious metal. Batman discovers the plot and eventually confronts the gangs after a terrific battle. In his secret Batcave, the Batman interrogates one of Douglas' henchmen, who reveals the radium was to have been taken to the House of the Open Door, located on mostly desert Little Tokyo, section of Gotham City. Batman and Robin infiltrate the gang's lair, also start the latest laboratory, hidden inside a still open business, a fun house ride. There they find Linda gagged and unconscious after she is rescued by the dynamic duo. Dacre transforms Uncle Warren into a zombie and plots the derailment of a heavily laden supply train. Once again, Dr. Cole's sabotage efforts were stopped by Batman and Robin. Traps and counter-traps follow the succeeding chapters as that duo continue to thwart the plans of the Japanese agent and his henchmen. When Dr. Takeda attempts to steal America's victory plans, Batman and Robin finally prevail. They oversee the capture of his men and finally the death of the Japanese agent as he tries to escape. He falls through his own hidden trap door into a pit full of hungry alligators. So, the whole plot in a nutshell for you. Sorry. Pretty much the Electric Brain is where, you know, you see Batman sitting at the Batcave, and then they're talking about him and Robin and them going to fight crime. Batman will take out the members of the Collins gangs. One of them does say to Batman, Dr. Tanaka's going to get you. It was like, Batman's like, who's that? Who's that? And like, and then one of the bad guys, the crook says, shut up, to the guy that said, another crook says, you'll see soon enough, Batman. And Batman like puts his thing on their head like a bat with a little bat symbol, and takes them to the police, calls Captain Arnold. He's like a little phone at the street where he's got like this little phone booth where he can just, it's like a little box. He just calls the captain. Lewis Wilson, now I don't think he's a very memorable Batman, in my opinion. I think he's too chubby, but that's just me. But as Bruce Wayne, I think he does a good job of playing a lazy billionaire, a lazy playboy who just act up and says, well, Linda, who is his girlfriend, who'll say, I'm sorry when I come pick you up, but I'm just tired. She's like, Bruce, I can't depend on you for anything. And she asked them to, him and, Bruce and Dick to go see her uncle, who's getting out of jail. But her uncle, Dick says to Bruce, well, what you doing who you really are? Bruce is like, well, I can't, because, she'd worry about me and put her in danger. She can't know who I really am, just to protect her, I guess you could say. But anyway, Uncle Morton gets kidnapped. Well, gets into this car with these guys. They take him to Dr. Tanaka, who wants him to work for him. And so basically he refuses. And what he does is put this thing on their head. I'm not talking about zombies like ooh, the zombies that want to suck you, zombies that want to drool and all that stuff and kill you. No, just do this. And Tanaka has like this voice inhibitor or whatever, voice change or whatever. Got this little mother that says, alright, mark it down, go to the door, and he just tells them and they listen to what he's saying. Yeah. And of course he has in a Japanese cave where when his villains knock it down, he gives them this ring, he sees a picture of the ring, knows it's them, lets them in. Basically, he wants a new world order in Japan, just to take over the world, be a world domination. They say that he wants that. But he needs the radium, and he tries to get his criminals to go steal it. Batman and Robin, come and stop them and fight them. The fight scenes are very quick, but this was like the 1940s, so all the fight scenes are quick and fast. It's not like the 60s cartoon where it's, boom, blam, shim, But Batman and Robin, end up getting the ray gun, and it's not like he gets tired of this because they think they kill Batman every time. And I'm sorry, but I don't like this Batman because he gets his ass kicked a lot. Then he gets thrown off a building, gets thrown into the bottom of an elevator shaft, and has to have Robin save him half the time. And I'm like, like I said, I think he's especially out of shape, just a chubby Batman. And you do see a little bit of detective work, not a lot, just him and Bruce, and I think they treat Alfred like shit, because Alfred's like reading a book. Bruce and Dick come through the clock. It's an entrance to the Batcave. They have the ray gun. Alfred's like reading a book or whatever, and they decide to tease him by shooting the ray gun at him. And I'm like, scared the poor man to death. But Alfred, he does help them a lot in here. He'll take them to places to change. He's like, Alfred, quickly, changing the Batman and Robin like in the middle of the day. And I'm like, and again with the core, I know they couldn't use a Batmobile. I guess they couldn't because they just didn't have the money at that time. But honestly, the core sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm not saying the Batmobile doesn't, but at least when it's a Batmobile, you know it's Batman. But, I'm surprised nobody found out Bruce Wayne is Batman because of the nice looking core. And I'm like, because he's a billionaire, he can afford a really nice core. Even though he keeps this, he still looks like a nice core. There's nothing. All somebody has to do is peep. Because half the time they'll drive the car and take their mask off, and I'm surprised nobody's able to get a glimpse of them. But yeah, throughout the series, though, Batman, like I said, he ends up in danger, almost gets run over by a train. A bad guy throws something at him, knocks him out. Like I said, he gets in the trap, which, you can say in the 60s show, Batman ends up in the trap. Batman in the 60s show, which is about how silly it is, Batman is always able to get out of the trap. This Batman cannot do that. He had to have, Robin throw him a crowbar because he gets trapped in the villain's lair. One of Taka's men turn on him, so he feeds him to his alligators. Like a little button where you can push in and you fall in and you get killed by the alligators. Yeah. But Batman, well, you get beaten up half the time. But then you do have some good... the fights are okay. They're decent. It's nothing to write home about, but, Yeah. Let me see. Batman does interrogate one of Tanaka's men in his cave. I'm just randomly going off here. So, sometimes they'll take him there to interrogate them to find information. So one guy is scared of all the bats. He's like, don't mind my little friends. But if you feel like talking, and then after he's done interrogating him, he, takes him to Captain Arnold. Bruce has a friend who's a doctor. I forget his name. Let's see, what was the character's name? I think I remember if I look. Maybe King Colton, yeah. Who found some of the radiation in these mines. Dr. Tanaka wants it. He nearly forces Colton to, go through his mind wipe or whatever to turn his own, but he refuses. Instead, it says to help them, but Batman and Robin show up. I do like the moments. Bruce Wilson, though, I don't think he's a good Batman, but he's a good Bruce Wayne, because every time Vicky asks him where he's at, me and Dick were out in the sun just laying down. He does play off the billionaire playboy pretty good persona, which is Bruce Wayne. It's just that his Batman, to me, is weak. Because he gets captured a lot, or, he has to have somebody come save him because he can't save himself. Batman's the world's greatest detective. He should be able to save himself. But him being a government agent, it just doesn't work for me. I'm like, no. It's like, to me, that's like Batman being a police officer or a cop. I'm like, no. That just doesn't work. But eventually, as the series goes on, Alfred goes in disguises half the time. Alfred tries with him so much. Just, surprised nobody says, oh, let's Alfred Pennyworth. Bruce Wayne's his butler. I'm like, come on. He's Bruce Wayne. Somebody's got to be able to recognize Alfred, because Alfred goes out most of the time with Bruce. Or drop him off somewhere. But, Alfred will go in disguise, and there's some moments I thought was funny with him. At the end, though, he's able to stop Tanaka. He's able to, Linda gets captured by the villain, by Tanaka. He mined her, turns her into a zombie. Batman's able to turn her back. And they're going to arrest Tanaka and put him in jail, but Tanaka tries to escape. He's got like a knife from Linda. He tries to escape. Robin, by accident, pushes a button, and Tanaka falls to his death. His alligators eat him. And then, Captain Arnold wants to see Batman's true identity. And, they cause a distraction. Batman's able to get out of him. Bruce Wayne says, oh, Batman always beats me, and then it ends there. But at the end, Batman and Robin eventually stop them, and, before Captain Arnold wouldn't see their identities, they ever get out, and they said Bruce and Dick come and say, oh, we missed Batman and Robin. And saying, hey, Linda, and our uncle's okay, and the villain stopped, and that's pretty much the end of the serial. Yeah. But I think I pretty much described the plot in good details. So, yeah. Let me give my final opinion. It's not going to be a long video. I don't feel like going too long on this. But remember, it's 15 chapters, and it usually would end with a dynamic duo being in danger, especially Batman. It ends always with a cliffhanger. So, but it is still focused on a story. You just have the stuff happening with the radiation and stuff that the villain is looking for, and him trying to, Dr. Snyder trying to kill Batman and Robin throughout the serial. But then I do find it hilarious that every time the villain say, "We killed Batman," and then he's not dead. I'm like, maybe try to just say that he's Bruce Wayne, but even Tanaka's like, no, that fool Bruce Wayne can't be Batman. Oh yeah, he also goes on the cover as Chuck White, which I kind of like that. Chuck White, who's a part-time criminal, where Bruce does to get information on the bad guys, which I like the Chuck White. I thought it was pretty funny. And there's a scene when he's talking to Linda, and Linda doesn't like Chuck. But, yeah. But overall, again, my final opinion on Batman 1943, I think it's decent. I say it's a start. But in my opinion, this really didn't do nothing for Batman. It's a start. But it just didn't really do anything for the character. It wasn't really huge or big when it came out. For me, I think Batman got big, got really successful, with the 60s show with Adam West and Bear Workshop. That's when, even though it was campy, it did start Batmania, and I think the 60s show is what made Batman a huge success, is the reason he's a success today, is because of the 60s show, in my opinion. Not this 1942, yeah, it takes itself seriously, but, like I said, there's some detective work in it, but again, Batman, I think it's too chubby, and I think, again, Lewis Wilson, I think he did an alright job. He's just forgettable, in my opinion. I like him as Bruce Wayne, but most of the time I think he's a bit of an asshole, especially to Alfred half the time. Yeah, and the whole thing with the racist slurs, I'm like, yeah, I know it was for his time, but that really didn't hold up, Batman's not only an asshole, but he's kind of racist too. And being a government agent, and the kid that played Robin, Gillis Croft, he was alright. I think he did decent, but I prefer Bill Ward to be much better and Chris O'Donnell to be more memorable than him. And the villain I thought was decent. That was just knocked down. I'm like, I guess they can't usually use no Batman villain. I guess they were trying to make Batman for that time. But Dr. Nocco was a decent villain. I think the actor did a good job, but he's just not very memorable in my opinion. And the one up on the page, back in the day she looked beautiful. Well, sure she's not anymore. Well, some of these people that do the serial in 1940 are probably not alive anymore. And the actor that played Alfred, William Hudson, he was alright. I just prefer the other Alfreds over him. But anyway, yeah. And there's some weird quick cuts, like there's a telephone where the bad guys are calling, pretending to be, her, Linda's uncle or whatever, just to trick her which works, and then Bruce tries to call whatever, and then he goes to quick edit of the bad guys talking, just like a quick edit of them talking. I don't know, it's just weird. Some of the editing is weird also, and like I said, another weak point for me is Batman getting his ass kicked at the time and always having to get his ass saved all the time. He always has to get saved in this. You don't see no gadgets either. I don't really remember any gadgets except the ray gun, which they don't really use that much. I mean, Batman and Robin use a rope, but not much gadgets. No Batmobile, hardly any gadgets. No, nothing. Batman just has to do normal things, in here. I mean, he is normal, but, it is slow paced at times for me, even a little boring at times for me, in my opinion, because it, takes a while for everything to happen, but, it's about 259 minutes long, so, yeah. But overall, I would say this is good for one watch. Again, it's a decent start for Batman, but it's not memorable, in my opinion. But the Batman 1943 series, I don't mind it. I don't like it. It's decent. But I would say from here, it doesn't get any better, but it will eventually. But Batman 1943, I kind of give it a so-so. I think it's just decent. I like it, but I'm going to get my rating for this is 3 out of 5 stars. But guys, let me know in the comments down below, have you seen the Batman 1943 serial? All the 15 chapters of it? let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of the Batman 1943 serial? Do you like it, or do you hate it? I don't hate it. I just think it's decent. But anyway, guys. Oh. It was also released July 16th. So, yeah. But anyway. So, that was the Batman 1943 serial. Alright, and next, I'll probably be talking about this but next we have another. This is the 1949 serial, which is called Batman and Robin. So, and this time we have two different actors playing. You do get a Vicky Bell on this one, okay. Robert Lorry and John Dugan play Batman and Robin in this. This is 261 minutes long. It also has 15 chapters to it, which is this one. And this too. Should be 15 chapters with this one, yeah. I've had this for a good while. Yeah. Then next I'll be talking about the Batman and Robin 1949 serial. So this will be next. So I hope you look forward to that, y'all. Alright. And let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of the Batman 1943 serial? Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of this? And thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my review for the Batman 1949 serial. So, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good night. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And maybe another video on Saturday. Maybe, hopefully by then I'll be able to get to the 60th Batman show. It'll probably be TV show election part 2030. So, but I do want to watch the history of the show before I talk about it. Kind of like a documentary. There's a documentary of the Batman 60 show on YouTube. I'm going to watch that first just to prepare for that video. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.